Alright, today is a fun day. So now we get to do the carbs. So, starting off, we'll be taking these to bits, emptying the float bowls, I think then taking the jets out, and then we'll be replacing the slide diaphragms in the top. We've got our kit. I'm basically going to get this all unpacked. Got some tools. Hopefully all of the tools I'm going to need. So, yeah, basically because this is a dual carb engine, we've got two of everything. So, what we got? So 2 slide diaphragms. We also have the fuel mix screws. What are these? Some little jets, shim washers, and this one we've got the float needle valve and some gaskets. So yeah, take this thing apart. It is completely filthy. Unfortunately, I've run out of gloves. No, hang on. Ah, I have 2 gloves left. Yeah, that's lucky. That is very lucky. So, change your plan. Get my gloves on. Then we're going to take this thing apart. So, I have watched a couple of videos on this, and TJB Brutal Customs video is probably one of the better ones that I've seen. Not for any particular reason, just because I think he does a 2-part video where he takes the whole carb apart bit by bit, shows you exactly how to do it. I've watched that a few times. So I am going to just have a look around this thing first. Oh, I've got some other parts. So these are some extra parts that may or may not belong on this bike. That is to be discovered. These definitely do. These are part of the diaphragm that goes on the side here. Obviously supposed to be on the carb, but for whatever reason it isn't. I've got all sorts of springs. This one I think is one of the slide diaphragm springs, goes in the top. Don't know why it's on the outside. We'll get to that. And then I've just got a bunch of hoses. So I'm going to put them to one side. I've also got this tin. Mysterious tin of stuff. So we'll see what's in here. Because the guy told me this tin was full of parts for the carbs. Which is slightly worrying because parts for the carbs are meant to be in the carbs. So, oh my God, I'll get in this thing. I've got another little spring here. Don't know what that goes to. Keep that to the side. Goodness. Right, there we go. Okay, we've got some sort of cable retention and a bunch of screws. Okay, I'm not too fussed about the screws. But that does suggest that someone's been in here already. So hopefully it's not a complete mess inside. Okay, let's see what's in there. So first off, I'm going to take the choke cable off. It's got these little rubber boots. Just pull those. It gives you a bit more room to get your fat fingers in there. Unscrew this little plastic guy. Don't want to break that. And then like that, choke cable comes straight off. Put that aside somewhere. Not going to need that for a long time. Next thing, I'm going to take this bracket off here. This is for the throttle cables. Now I might have to modify this because I'm getting rid of the push cable. So I don't actually need both of these brackets on here, but that can wait. Ooh, that can wait until I actually get around to assembling the cables and things like that. Okay, to get this bracket off, there's 2 little bolts. They fit nicely in a 7mm. Do those. Okay, that guy's off now. So next is the let's see. Well, one of these little diaphragms is already off, so maybe I should just get the other one off too. and then there I can keep those together. There we go. Now I know some of these screws can be quite seized on. Oh, I don't have a screw for this guy. Maybe that's what's in the tin. I'll see if I've got any spares left. I'd rather use a little Allen bolt for these. And I know these are already got Allen bolts on. Somebody's already been in here. Okay, that's spring loaded, just shut off. There we go. 2 springs. There's the covers. 2 brackets. 2 screws. And then this guy, if I can get it out gently. Little diaphragm. Needs a clean. Yeah, looks in pretty good nick. There's a bit of rust on it, but that should be fine. I can get that off. Looks okay inside. Next is these little breather tubes. Now these are pretty wedged in there. I might be able to pry them out. But I'm going to try and be careful about it. Now I do have something to replace these with, so it's not the end of the world if I break these, but I'd rather not break them. It took a bit of doing, but they are out now. Yeah, there's a lot of like corrosion in there. You can see it, probably not. Just in here. Where are we? Here. It's pretty corroded in there. So they were really difficult to get out, but that should all come out with a bit of cleaning. So those are actually being replaced, so it didn't really matter if I broke those, but you know, I'm trying to keep things intact. You know, not everybody's gonna buy the breather vent kit, so if you're gonna reuse those, you want to get those out as good as you can, I guess. Yeah, so next bit, let's see what's in here. So this is the float bowls. I think these may have already been drained. Well, there's definitely nothing in here. I've already checked, and plus these are bone dry. Yeah, these are filthy. There's my little torch. Yeah, these just basically everything on these cars is filthy. So I'm going to just take these apart bit by bit. Thankfully, I mean, touch wood, nothing's completely seized yet. Yeah, it's just a little bit of corrosion, nothing too crazy. I mean, you can tell that these screws have been replaced at some point. They're a lot cleaner and everything else. So somebody's already been in here. Don't know what they've done, whether they put new jets in or what, but it does give me the satisfaction of not having to battle with all of these screws and bolts and whatever else. They come out pretty easy. Well, it's bone dry, pretty dirty. There we go. Let's see. So we've got a float, main jet, pilot jet, and the needle just in there. So this guy is a 7mm, I believe. So we're going to push out this little pin. You can see that. That holds the float in. Now if we lift this guy out, the float valve should come with it. Or not. Yeah. Now we're going to take the main jet out. Now we're not going to be reusing this. I will put it aside. I don't want to lose it. And then the main jet holder comes out. Now we are going to be reusing this, so don't lose that guy, otherwise you are in a world of hurt. Put that in there. pilot jet. Now you only need a flat head to undo these. These are not absolutely torqued down in any way, so do not go hammering on these with all your might. That would be bad. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So we're going to flip this guy over now. We do this top side. Now again, someone's already been in here. What have they done? Have they replaced this jet, or was it just a clean? What's this one? So this is a, I think that's a 100. My eyes are terrible. I can barely read that. Yeah, so we are going to undo these now. I much prefer these little Allen heads. Oh yeah, this is spring loaded, so don't forget to hold that down. There's my spring. These I'm going to clean up and respray. But for now, they are going to hold my screws. These get replaced. Hold them up to the light. There's no damage on them, so realistically I could reuse them. This is full of gunk, but otherwise pretty clean. The gasket area is not too bad on this one, but on the underside it's awful. Okay, that's that. Yeah, so that's this one pretty much taken apart, apart from the mixed screw, which is, where are we? This side. I think I may need, yeah, a smaller screwdriver for that. Alright, let's try this one. Where are we? Here. Oops, there we go. Yeah, so this one has the tiny washer and the tiny O-ring on the end there. You can see those, you can't see those. Sometimes these get stuck in the body of the carb, so you just have to be aware that they have to come out. Now I'm replacing this with the nicer one, so that can go in my not to be reused pile. That's this side pretty much done now. Now I am not going to separate these two bodies because I don't want to mess about with the, I'm going to balance them anyway, but I don't really want to mess about with the screw, so I'm just going to leave those for now. But yeah, that's this side pretty much taken apart. It is covered in grime and filth, so I think what I'm going to do before I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, I'm going to give it a scrub in some hot water, and I've also got some this ultrasonic parts cleaner. This is good, it's pretty good at getting through all the grime and stuff, so I'll just chuck that in. I chuck that in my ultrasonic cleaner as well. That cuts through all this horrible gunk. So yeah, now I'm going to move on to the other side. So again, exactly the same process. Take these guys off. So the kit does come with new ones, and also this guy, so I can actually take this out. Didn't realise that, but I think I can take that out as well. So I should probably get a little socket for that. Yeah, that's just a little 10mm, so let's get that out. I didn't realise that came in the kit too. There we go. So this is a little filter, I think, judging by what that looks like. Yeah. There's this guy. And then inside there, little filter. I'll do that too. So, and the filter. main jet. Pilot jet. Now we're not using the main jets again, but we are, I think, are we reusing the pilot jets? Or are these the new pilot jets? Nope, we've got new pilot jets too, so we're not reusing those. But we are keeping the main jet holder. Don't throw that away. That's this piece. Okay. Do not throw this guy away. Okay, that's everything out the bottom. Now I'll be interested to see if there's a spring in this, because in that box of parts there was also another spring. So if there's a spring in here, I'll be glad, because I know that that random spring I've got doesn't belong in these carbs. Let's see. Yes, okay, there's a spring. That means this spring isn't for this bike. So I am going to toss that aside for now. Don't need that, don't want that getting mixed in. And then, let's see, what's this diaphragm looking like? It's pretty stiff. I mean, it's not in bad condition, but I'm not going to keep it. I might keep it and use it as a spare. But the rubber, little rubber sleeves, skirts, or whatever you want to call them, they're pretty stiff. So that's pretty much these carbs completely disassembled now. Not too much to them. Just got to pay attention to where you take bits out of. Alright, so that's disassembly done. This is pretty much where we're at. So these are the parts we're keeping. These are the carbs completely disassembled. All the jets and, you know, the float needle housing, all that sort of stuff, that's all out. And on the underside, we've got nothing left in here. All that's all out. The little diaphragms on the side, they're out. The mix screws on either side. Where are we? Oh, I haven't done this one. That needs to come out. Also, you've got on these diaphragms, there's a little O-ring. There wasn't on the other one because it was missing. But this one you can see I've left it here. You can see that little O-ring there, so that needs to come out too. They are also in the kit. That guy there, he's in there. So I'm just going to quickly take out this little fuel mix screw in here.
Really?
Again, don't forget those little mix screws have a washer and a little rubber O-ring. That has to come out too. You don't want to leave that in there. Well, there's a bit of unexpected drama. So, just as I was about to remove that last mixing screw, it was completely like rounded off, which is obviously the best thing about flathead screws, especially when they're made of brass. Yeah, that was great. So, what I ended up doing for the past like hour and a half was, this is the one that came out. It's pretty good condition, not bad. I mean, it's a bit rough on the end. That was probably on its way out as well. But this one, I mean, I haven't really got it to show you because it's basically what I did was I put the carbs in the vise here and I drilled a really narrow hole, no wider diameter than this part here, basically straight down the center of this. And then once I had that down the center, I drilled a larger diameter hole with this one, which is, for comparison, still smaller than the main diameter of the mixer screw. And I managed to, I don't know if you better see this, but this is all I could find of the threads. Basically, very, very, very thin wall. Threads on the outside, drill hole on the inside. managed to pry it away. Luckily, I mean, you're not going to be able to see, but luckily on the inside, where is it here, managed to miss all of the threads, which is good. And I confirmed that by threading in the good mixing screw, the one that isn't knackered, and that threads in nicely, doesn't rattle around. I can tighten that fully down. I say tighten, I say screw it fully down, I should say. So that's all the way in now, it won't go any further, and that feels pretty tight, snugged up in there. And then I can take that out, and that essentially means the threads are intact. I can actually see them down there, so I know that they're still in good condition. I haven't hit the threads at all, so I'm happy with that. But basically, I drilled all the way through this part until it hit this part, and then this part wasn't seized in at all, and it just dropped straight out. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that was the most fun part of this so far. At one point, I even started looking at the cost of a new set of carbs, because this was so mangled. Originally what I did was I drilled a smaller hole, and I tried to hammer this down in it, try and like wedge it in there and then turn the screw out. There was no way it wasn't turning at all. There's so much corrosion in that hole, but I'm just thankful that I've managed to get this out, because these threads on here, I mean, you're not going to be able to tell, but if you're doing this yourself, you'll be able to see on your own screw, the threads on here, they are so fine. Yeah, so what a 10-minute 15-minute disassembly turned into an hour and 45 minutes, because the screw was stuck in there, which seems to be a common thing with this bike so far. Anyway, it's out now. I haven't destroyed the carbs. I am just going to tidy up this mess, because there's filings and shavings and all sorts of stuff everywhere. So I'm going to tidy up this mess, and then we'll crack on. So I've just given these a bit of a clean by hand in the kitchen, because my girlfriend loves it when I clean motorbike engine parts in the sink. So yeah, I've got a bit of a scrubbed a bit of the sort of crusty stuff off, so that's good. I've had, what we had in here, some bits. I probably shouldn't have put the floats in there, for obvious reasons. They float, but these have actually come out pretty clean. They had a bit of sort of petrol varnish on them, so they've come out quite nice. What else? I put just those diaphragm pieces in there, and the main jet holders. So we'll get those out now. Oh, that's gone in. Probably should have just lifted the basket out, to be fair. Now, annoyingly, this water is 50 degrees. That's quite warm. What's next? So I gave these a bit of a scrub. They were a bit dirty. Interestingly, on the bottom of this one, I don't know if you can see, just about there, someone scratched in a little cross, almost like to say, this carburettor's knackered because I've stripped the screw, or I've lost the diaphragm, or the O-ring on the fuel drainage screw is completely mangled. I mean, it could have meant any of those things. Who knows? Those are now fixed anyway, so I'm going to chuck these in. These are going to come out, hopefully, much cleaner. I do like this little ultrasonic cleaner, it's very good. Those I'm going to clean my hand. These guys can go in. Those I'll clean by hand. So they'll just go in here, and I'll chuck it on for another 5 minutes, I think. Alright, these are done. Looking pretty good. That's cleared out most of the varnish and stuff from the bottom. And now, unfortunately, my ultrasonic cleaner isn't big enough to get both of these in. So what we're going to do is just take the basket out. But yeah, that definitely covers one. So I'm going to go with that. Pretty clean, not too bad. I'm just going to go rinse them in a bit of clean water. Get all the detergent, degreaser and everything off them. Yeah, come out pretty good. Can't moan. Right, that's everything clean. I've chucked a few things aside because I want to paint them. Just some satin black spray paint, nothing crazy. But they were already painted anyway, so I've just sanded them down, given them a nice new coat of paint. So that will match all the other satin black stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is probably do the float bowls, because I can't do the slide diaphragms because it's the diaphragm caps that I'm painting. Also the diaphragm caps on the side I'm also painting, just so it's less grey. Everything's very grey on these carbs. So this kit comes with everything you need to rebuild these carbs, all the O-rings, all of that. This large one comes with it, that goes on the slide breather ports. I'm not actually going to need that one because I have bought the slide breather vent kit, which I'll be installing. So what I've got is the small O-ring for the bowl drain screw. I like sticking a bit of grease on my O-rings just because it helps with that, keeping the moisture off, and also, you know, lets the rubber slide into its position a little bit better. If I put a little film of grease on that, I'll be happy. Use lids on there, and that goes into this guy. That's good. That's him done. I've got the new filter, O-ring and float needle in there. The little washer goes on first, don't forget that. This thing goes in this hole here. That's that installed there. That's where the float needle lives. So he'll go in next. He has to go on this little tab, the float valve. Sorry, this is the float valve. He's hanging on there. Pretty much drop him into the hole. We get that little retaining pin that we took out at the beginning. And that goes back through there. Now, we've got the float installed with the new float valve. Now there's a measurement of how high these have to be for this to be sitting correctly, and the way you adjust it is by bending that little tab. I'm going to check that in the manual before I close all this up, and then make sure that that float height is correct for where it needs to be. Usually you measure off the edge here to the top of the float head, I guess, and if it's too low, you can adjust it with that little tab. So that is what I will do before closing this all up, but I'm going to get the jets in first. So I am running on this bike the velocity stacks as well as the open-ended pipes. So the recommendation is the larger of the two jets, which is the 145. So hopefully that's this one. There's 4 in here. I can't read this. My eyes are terrible, so I have had to have a, I think it's called a jeweler's loop. So what is this? This is a 142. I'll leave that out before I get the other one out. What's this one? $145. Let's see if I can show you. 145 for reference. That is tiny. So that's what I'm trying to see there, what the number is on the side. So that's the main jet. So that is going to go into the main jet holder. Let me put that one away. So this guy doesn't come with the kit, so you need to hang on to that. So he screws into there. 7mm. I don't have a 7mm spanner. So that just goes just tight. You don't want to over tighten that at all. And the main jet goes in. Flathead screwdriver. Now you just turn this so it stops. Give it a little pinch and that's it. Don't go crazy with that. Next, pilot jet. Now I've got 3 in here for some reason, I'm not really sure why. Hopefully it makes no difference. That's 45. That's 45. That's 42. Don't know if I'm missing one, but I've only got 3. So I am going to use the 45s. What did I have originally? 38 originally. So I'm going to use the 45s because that is what I've got 2 of. Obviously I don't want one larger than the other. So again with this jet, just tighten it by hand. And then once it gets tight, keep going till it stops, which is there. And that's it, no more. So in the manual, it says that 98 to 99, the float should be 7mm. Anything after that, I think, is 18.5. But this is a 94, so I'm going to go with the 7. So basically what I need to do, I'm going to set my caliper to 7mm. Now what it says you need to do is you hang the carbs so the float just comes in contact, the little metal tab on the float just comes in contact with that little metal arm on the float valve. So it has to hang. So it just comes in contact with it. It doesn't pull it out, essentially. Yeah, it's pretty much 7mm. It's pretty much just touching it and it's 7mm. I mean, I could be doing that wrong. That's how I've interpreted it in the manual. The manual's got 1 picture and it's not exactly the best description of how to do this. But essentially what it says is tilt the carbs until the float valve is touching just in contact with the float lip, which I believe is that little metal part, the little tab, and then measure this distance. You're supposed to do it with an actual tool, but this should work fine. That is 7mm. That is also 7mm. I find that that would be a bit of a weird coincidence if I was doing it wrong, but I'm going to go with that. Put that in there. A ring. There we go. I've got a big, a small bag of bolts. These are new bolts. Yeah, I'm going to drop it immediately on the floor. These little button head ones, they look so much nicer than the Allen on the head. Anyway, that's this one on now. So I'm gonna do the same for the other side, and then yeah, see what else we can install. The float bolts assembled with the mixed screws in. So can't put the tops on yet because the paint is still drying. So this long one is a replacement for the idle adjustment screw. That's this guy. So you just take all the components off this. Probably good that I am replacing this. It's got a bit of a bend in it, that one. But this goes in here. Washer goes back on, and the spring, and that threads into there. New adjustment screw in. Slide vents, maybe that might be nice. So these are really nice. These are like little machined breather tube vent things. Got two of those. Oh, they're lovely. Black aluminium. And I've got some little sponges, little metal mesh. This is gutting. For once I actually have the right tool, a pair of circlip pliers, but the prongs on the end here are too big for the holes in the circlip. Okay, there we go. I just filed them down a little bit. They're only cheap pliers, but I finally had the tool and it didn't fit. Anyway, right. So I don't really know how these go together, but I'm guessing it's just a case of little metal filter thing, sponge filter, metal filter, circlip. I'm assuming that's it. That looks the tits. No wobble. No wobble at all. That's solid. That looks nice. I like that very much. That looks like it's supposed to be there. What's next? What do we got? Oh, mixed screws. Let's install those. These are nice. These are really nice. Again, these are machined. These are super nice. And they come with, where are they? Yeah, they come with their own tiny washer and tiny O-ring on the bottom. The ones that I said you have to make sure you get out, because these come with them. So you don't want to be screwing these in when you've already got one stuffed in there, because your fuel mixture will be way off. So these simply slide into there and screw in. Right, I'm going to plug some of these ports up. So these ones used to come from the airbox, which is no longer being used. That's one. It's that one to go. There we go, that's two. Let's have a look at the velocity stacks, because these are really nice. Ooh. Yeah, these are good. Very pretty. These set screws are absolutely microscopic. So, trick with these is mesh goes on first, followed by your velocity stack. Now I really don't want to drop any of these little screws. They've already got some in. This one has two, one's in the bag, and a tiny little Allen key. So I probably want to orient these in a way that I can get to them quite easily. I guess I also want that little logo thing sticking out the side. Oh, they look really nice. Wow. They look really good. I'm really happy with those. They're gorgeous. Just the last set screw. Man, that's nice. That is nice. Let's put the other one on. So, mesh on first. Oh man, these look good. These do look really good. These set screws are so small. My fingers are so fat. There we go. Velocity stacks installed. Look at those, they look good. They look really nice. Okay, I'm gonna leave that here for tonight. I'll come back in the morning when the paint is dry, and then I will reassemble the rest of these carbs. So I'll see you shortly. It's been a day or so. These painted parts now completely dry, along with these little covers. They look quite alright. So I'm just gonna finish reassembling these carbs. They're looking pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with them so far. So I've already put the slide into this one. So pretty much with this one, it is just a case of putting the spring back in and then holding on to the cover while it goes back on. Just want to make sure that diaphragm doesn't get pinched or anything like that. That sits nicely. Then we've got the new cover bolts here. They'll just go in. Just making sure that cover doesn't pinch anything. So that's that one done. That's pretty nice, quite happy with that. Do the other side. Now I've kind of done this in a bit of a backwards manner. I probably should have put these in before I put the velocity stacks on, mainly because you can get your finger in there and hold this up. while you put the top on, which does make it a lot easier. Because obviously when you put the top on with the spring in, it compresses your diaphragm down, and then you've kind of got to make sure you don't pinch it by accident or anything like that. So I'm just being extra cautious. Right, that's those on. Last thing to do is, I mean, shouldn't really have to do this, I don't think, but you do get in the kit a couple of replacement little O-rings. I guess they go in these little bits here. Just press those into place. And then you get your diaphragms on this side. They just slot back in. Again, all these things fit in a little groove, so just take your time, make sure you've got it seated properly. You know when it's in. Spring. And the cover. There we go. They are looking pretty sweet. Got the little adjuster screws here. I've painted these covers. You've got the breather vents. Painted the caps again because they were looking pretty tatty. Then you got the velocity stack on top. They are looking pretty sweet. I'm really happy with them. I'm just going to do the other side quickly. That is the carbs pretty much completed, rejetted, new breather tubes, new fuel mixer screws, velocity stacks. They look absolutely lovely. Repainted the caps, repainted the diaphragm breathers here. Yeah, they are looking nice. I'm really happy with them. So it is pretty much now just a case of refitting the dual choke cable. That needs a clean before I put that back on, and the fuel lines, but again, these need a clean. These rubber fuel lines are absolutely solid, so I'm going to replace those. I'm going to keep the little, you know, the T-junctions and stuff like that, but I am going to replace the hoses themselves. But yeah, that is the carbs rebuilt for this bike, and they look nice. Really happy with them. They look great. So once these are on the bike, I'll have to balance them, and I'll also probably have to do a little bit of tuning, no doubt. That will just be a case of just getting the mixture right. I've also got these little shims in here that come with the kit, just that props the needle up if you need to, so I'll have to have a go at doing that if I need to do that. But yeah, that is the carbs rebuilt, cleaned, painted, performance kit installed, and yeah, it's dead easy. I mean, I took a long time to do this, mainly because I'm talking, messed about with the camera, but you can do this much quicker than I did. Also, I had that issue with trying to get that fuel mixture screw out. It was a nightmare. But otherwise, it's a fairly straightforward task. You don't have to do too much in regards to taking things to bits. These central pieces are pretty much one block of aluminium. You've got the top cap, bottom cap, and it's just components underneath those two caps. Take your time. Like I say, I've had this sat on the bench for a little bit while I've been doing other things, waiting for paint to dry and whatnot. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how they went. A few hiccups, but nothing to do with the install. That was mainly because these have been butchered by somebody else in the past. I'm really happy with these, how these have come out. I've got a few O-rings left, so I'll just make sure I haven't missed any. I'm pretty sure I haven't. They could just be spares, but I'm pretty happy with that. So these are ready to go back on.